Hey guys, welcome to our video on Chainlink. Today is November 27th, 2019, closing in on the 28th, but we have a new daily candle and lots of things to talk about. But before I get started, this isn't financial advice. I am not your financial advisor, and therefore you're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, and doing your own research. I'm just here to give my opinion on the market, but thank you for joining. And if you're in the United States, I hope you're all having a great Thanksgiving, a few days here to hopefully relax and not stress out too much about the market. So I do want to talk a little bit about Chainlink here, because when we talked last, I want to say that when we were doing the video last time, we were talking about this move down here, and how we kind of hit our target, but it was a little bit of a front run. We had a good rejection here off the 786, and so basically what it looked like is we were completing a corrective structure here that would look a little bit like from this move here we had a nice a B, and then we're going down for the C down here. But what it now looks like is we're really coming down a ways, and this is more or less a channel where we really had a bit of a corrective wave. And I know this isn't proper, but it does look like we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had a bit of a a 5-wave move. And it's not really super. I wasn't really expecting this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And the trade that I was in got stopped out. But what I do want to take a look at here is how this potentially could have some merit to it. So obviously we broke down below the 618. But that's not terrible, right? If we came down here to the 786, which we came down here to the 786 right to the tick, that's still okay. This is good for a nice 1-2, which means we should be in, we should be in the runnings to be in a third wave right now. If this works the way that I'm expecting it to, came right down to the 786, I think this is important to pay attention to. We need to, from this point down here, what we need to see. And I'm interested in getting back into my position, actually. So what I'm interested in seeing is a nice 1, 2, which we've kind of seen that. But now what I need to see is a 3, a 4, and then going up for the 5. And the geometry, I might be a little off here. It might be appropriate for us to come up here to 256 and then come back down here and retest this level before we move up to the 1618. We need to hit this 1618 or higher, which is at about 271. So, significant upside potential. From right where we're at, you got to put the stop down here, which is, kind of unfortunate because you're really allowing yourself a long way down. You're like a 5.3% loss. But what we're really looking at this point, we're looking for a 22% gain from where we're at right now, which is why I'm interested in this. So you basically you have 4-1 odds. You have a 5.38% stop loss versus this 22% gain. So the risk to reward is pretty good, assuming this is a 1-2, and then we're going up for a 3, right? So let's go ahead and put this in here, because we're really assuming that this is a dominant pivot at the bottom. So we have a 1, we have a 2, we're looking for this 3 up here, and then we're going to be going for a 4, potentially back down here to 250 or so, and then we're going to be going up much higher. I'm not going to try and put the cart before the horse here. We need to see some things happen first. Like first we have to take out this level right here. So this is the level that we're going to have to take out. I'm going to remove these old support resistance lines, even though they are pretty. I'm going to leave them there actually, because they are pretty important. We had a good support there that became more resistance up here. So I do think that these levels are pretty important. So I'm going to keep them there. But this level is the new level that we need to overtake, which we haven't been able to do that yet. on Chainlink. So would be really great if we did. Right now we're significantly under there, so there is still some upside potential. But right here we had some resistance. Right here we had some resistance. I would say that third time we try and punch through it, we're probably going to make it. We're probably going to push through this, and we're going to see a little bit something like this to get us up into that 3. So we're probably going to be looking for, as a third wave, we're going to have 5 waves of its own to get ourselves up to that target, which is at about 256 or so. This also is pretty heavily reliant on Bitcoin also continuing to move to the upside. A couple things down here with our stochastics. The hourly is currently, crossed down. It's crossed bearish, and the price is moving sideways, right? So we did move down just a little bit, but we're basically just moving sideways in this level as the stochastic is resetting. So that is that's forcing me to lean slightly bullish on Chainlink. So I'm not too concerned about this stop getting hit right now. Now, of course, if we take out this stop right here at about 210, chances are pretty good we're going to go back down to $2, maybe even lower. And I'm not really expecting that to happen. I do think that this was a pretty technical pivot, a good bottoming formation. Again, I'm not going to say this is a head and shoulders because it's not, but we do have a little bit of, bottoming, like a triple bottom, if you will, something like that. I'm not going to call it an inverted head and shoulders, even though the target would be right around here, and that's kind of where we're looking for a wave 3 to hit. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is an inverted head and shoulders because I don't like the way that it looks. So I'm not going to say that, but I will say that this does look like a good bottom, right? So we actually had a little bit of bullish divergence. We had a lower low on the price, but on our stochastics, it's hard to see, but we had a little bit of a higher low on the stochastics. So we've got a little bit going for us, but nonetheless, I do think that we do have an upside potential as long as we can push above 225, 227. If we can push up above this and we get that move up, then I do think that we potentially go to at least 250. I do think that we do have that potential ahead of us. That does rely on Chainlink versus Bitcoin to also move to the upside or at least stay flat. Right now, Chainlink versus Bitcoin, this is a prime time to buy right now. And I hate to say it, I hate to be the guy that's trying to shill you guys on Chainlink, but right now, I mean, stochastics are way oversold. On the hourly, on the 3-hour, on the 12-hour, this is the perfect opportunity to be buying. If I was playing the stock market, I would be buying this. I would be getting heavy into a position right now. The last time that we had indicators that all had confluence like this, if you include the 12-hour, right? The 12-hour is key here. The last time we had that was way back here. And actually, really, it was more right here. This was the last time we had confluence like we have right now. You can see the hourly, the 3-hour, the 12-hour were all down here when Chainlink versus Bitcoin was way down at about 27,750, okay? And we have this same setup right now. So again, risk versus reward, this looks good. This looks good. Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect, but right now, this really does look pretty good to me. And let me go ahead and just throw our Fibonacci on this and see what this looks like from the bottom over here to the top over there, and we're doing our retrace. Where are we touching right now? We are at the 786. So this is a perfect area for a bounce. So I do think we have upside potential on Chainlink. I will be taking trade on Chainlink because I do think it does have the potential to go up to at least 250. More than likely, it's going to be going higher than that, but a lot of it is going to rely on Bitcoin. But Chainlink versus Bitcoin, it looks like it's going to potentially start a reversal, and it might go a little bit lower, but more or less this 786, which is at about 29,350, this is a good area to buy because I would expect this to start to move up, hit some resistance, but try and push its way through. But it would be really great to start to move up above that. What I'm going to do real quick here is I'm going to do one last view. I'm going to go up to a daily time frame, and take a look at this from a much higher time frame perspective. If we're taking a look at this, and if we're being honest with each other, this does look a little bit like we are starting to create a bit of a pennant on a much higher time frame, of course. So this could continue to play out, which means we are likely potentially going to be consolidating here for a little while. So if we're doing an A, B, C, we're going to go up for the D, and then E, come back down here, and then we finally start to move up and out of this, right? So that's what we're kind of, at least that's what I'm kind of expecting will likely happen. So for Chainlink versus Bitcoin to kind of bottom out here, move itself up here, let's take a look at the P&L on this potential trade setup. We're looking for a move up to probably about 35,000. And we're going to look for a stop loss down here at these lows. So I'm going to go ahead and take this wick right here, which is about 4.6%. And so again, we're looking at about 4 to 1 odds, 4.2 to 1 odds for about a 20% gain on Bitcoin and potential 4.6% loss. Again, it's a decent trade setup, so I'm interested in this. I think the stochastics all line up very nicely, and I'm very excited about this opportunity. The last time the daily stochastics were down here, just for the record, and we can see this this green right here. So I'm on a daily time frame. So this green stochastic is where is on the current time frame. So the last time that the daily was down here was right down here. Right now the daily is back down here, and we are right here. So much is telling us that this could be a bottom for Chainlink. Again, some of the other times that the daily was down this low was this area right here. You do have to be kind of careful for this move down. Let's see here. The other time we had this right here, we had a good impulsive move up. So one way or another, I do think that there is going to be some upside here in the near future. I do think because of the formation that we are currently in right now, you have to take the stop loss right here at about 28,000. I would take the stop loss about 28,000. You know, when I threw this up here, it just randomly popped up at about 27,990, which is probably pretty good. Right on the other side of 28,000 would be a good stop loss because you know we're at risk of retracing too far inside of the structure, and for us to break below 28,000 likely means we're going to come below 27,000. Probably, if we break that structure, we're going to come back to about 24.5. This would be the next area that I am thinking would be our next area of support. And while I don't want to expect this to happen, if it does, let's see if that comes in line with anything important. You know, the 618 is right here at about 23,400. So potentially a wick down here to the 618, which would still be okay. But for this trade setup, assuming we are going to be creating a bit of a pennant here, we need this to be a bottom. And it does look like that this is going to be at least providing a little bit of relief up here. But I'm going to be targeting about this level, about 35,000. But if you're on the Discord, I'll keep you up to date. But that's my thoughts on Chainlink right now. So that went a little longer than I expected it to, so apologies for that. But again, if you do have any questions or anything, feel free to pop in the Discord, and I will answer any questions that you've got. But wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good time.